I'm sure you've seen now more and more layoffs happening in the private sector, but not in the construction sector. Got to ask yourself why. We're obviously going to talk about, so what does this really mean for you? So Real Estate Report. I'm your host, Court. I'm your host, head of business development at Abernathy Holdings. We go out and build self sites in California and Arizona. I want to share with you some of the headlines just from today in regards to some of the layoffs taking place. Before I do, I want to remind you, we had a while back this conference with Fed Chair Jerome Powell. The reporters there was like, hey, if you continue to raise rates this rapidly, you're going to see unemployment begin to tick up. And Fed Chair Powell, I know. What do you want me to do? The path you got to take to go forward. Inflation under control. One interesting thesis I'm going to share with you from her in a moment. From Danielle DiMartino. She's, by the way, she used to work at the Fed. But one of her thesis theories is that, hey, Jerome Powell is going to stay strong with these rates, maybe longer than most anticipated, because he's trying to shift the system of some of these zombie companies coming up in Silicon Valley when money was just simply so cheap. But not a zombie company that had a major layoff. I want to share with you is Nike. Nike laying off their employees, 1,500 people. You remember UPS? You've seen this. Google recently made an announcement. The CEO here of Nike saying how we will reignite our. I also want to share with you Toast laying off 10% of its workforce. So pay attention to what's going on in the private sector, because your administration covered up with what's happening in the public sector, which I'll explain here in a moment. It's an interesting clip from Danielle DiMartino talking about what's happening in the country as far as layoff, and what this pattern tells you to be aware of within the economy.
It's just, unless it's different this time, in data back to 1976, from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, every time we've had 50 or more states, and how do we have more? Because Washington, D.C. is counted as one. But every time we have 50 or more states with state level unemployment rates rising, back to 1976, 9 out of 9 times. So an even more accurate predictor than the yield curve, we've been in recession. That occurred in October of
2023. So she's suggesting, look, guys, the data is showing you. We all know about the inverted. What that means. She's also talking about now when you look at employment starting to rise in 50, and if it's even happening in DC, you know there's some challenges taking place. So that's her theory and thesis there, and you're seeing it much more prevalent in the private sector. But now this clip I'm going to share with you, Barry Sternlicht, chairman of Starwood Capital, and he talks about why the numbers aren't as publicly as maybe they should. And then more importantly, from a commercial real estate standpoint, as the commercial real estate report, is we're not seeing costs begin to construction. Very from a development standpoint, because we develop self-storage. To share with you what Barry Sternlicht has to say, and then give you a map to demonstrate just how is happening across the United States when it comes to infrastructure and construction.
And the current level, so the question is, when will the Fed lower rates? Because he's going to have 350 basis points real interest rates. And here's where it gets really tricky, because the economy is too strong. It's too strong because of public spending. It's not too strong because of private spending. Private spending is rolling over. You saw UPS's numbers this morning. You've seen, in the last 2 weeks, you've probably seen 200,000 job layoff announcements at Macy's, Amazon. Everyone's laying workers off. The federal government's hiring them. So all construction should lose 1 million jobs. We raise interest rates 500%. We have a piece of land in Fort Lauderdale. We're going to warehouse it. We're not going to build it. The numbers don't make sense. Across the country, construction is plummeting. Industrial construction is down 70%. When we get through this wave of multis, which we're finishing, you'll probably have down 70% in multifamily construction. You would see 1 million construction workers unemployed, like you did in 07, 08. We've seen none. Why? Bridges, roads, and tunnels. The New Hampshire election, talking about, we're building all these roads and bridges and tunnels. This is the infrastructure bill. It's $1 trillion bill. They're spending enough money to keep these guys employed. So you're not getting. So the Fed keeps using this really blunt.
So we've talked about it here several times. I just want to remind you, because I think it's really important to remember the amount of caps in the system. I'll do this map here in a moment about construction jobs. But also remember there's infrastructure $1 billion, but there's also $750 billion of COVID still in the states. I think what's important to realize, we are in an election year. Money needs to be appropriated by the end of 2024 and then spent in 2025. And back to my thesis, pay attention second quarter of 2026. So you turn like they're talk about why construction jobs are still abundant. Costs are not going down. I shared with you recently how I talked to a G. He said, Chris, everyone's asking me, hey, is costs going to start to go down? He goes, I'm just not seeing it. I'm not seeing construction costs go down. And then I'm going to share this map with you. This is why, and I think it's really, really fascinating. So what this is essentially, you can see here, hopefully you can see that where it says private investments. So these are the private of construction jobs that are taking place across the country. Decent sized map, but you're very strongly there. Say, hey, construction is 70% industrial. It's going to be down 70% of multifamily through this wave, where this map becomes stunning. Look at this map. This is the private sector construction. If you're wondering why construction costs are not down, wow. There is the public infrastructure bill. I mean, all those dots. Obviously, there's some differences. I haven't gotten into the weeds about the blue dots, but it gives you an idea of kind of jobs are being appropriated in place, talked about, printed across the country. And we've got $1 trillion to spend. You're just not going to see the construction costs go down as many anticipate. Want to thank Corey Sylvester from DXD Cap. He put this map out in one of his letters talking about the state of self-storage, what's happening there, which is exactly why we holdings feel great about the future of self-storage. We're very well capitalized. Coming out there, you got a piece of dirt fit for self-storage, definitely contact me. Let me know, because we are looking to that capital and continue to build and change these private structure jobs that are taking place across the United States. All right, please share this, friends, family, colleagues. Subscribe to our channel here, the Commercial Real Estate Report. Like this video. Back here very, very, very soon.